So happy to finally introduce myself on this page as it's being rebranded and changed. Catch the name. We are definitely getting into some new understandings of what it means to be multifaceted, what it means to be multidimensional, and just have different layered aspects of who we are, and then again how that ties into space. So again, y'all, my name is Ashley. I am the creator of this page. I am a design researcher by trade, but I also have a history in interior design, urban affairs with a concentration in urban planning, and design research and development, amongst many other lived experiences and things. And again, I want to just kind of say thank you for following, for tuning in, and supporting me as I build this next phase of my life and really personify what my purpose is here on this earth. I think to really make spaces better, grow capacity, and I'm going to talk more about that today. So I'm going to be going live or having some kind of content for 30 days in a row. This is inspired by a conference I attended called, what is it called? MMA Academy, or MMA, I'm trying to think of, Marketplace Mandate Academy, there it is. Went to this conference in Duluth, Georgia about a month ago with my mom. She invited me and definitely got me hip to what was going to be happening there, but wanted to expose me to some cool opportunities, get me connected to some kind of people that are prevalent on, social media, or are coaches and influencers, and really being rooted in making sure whatever you do to make money or how you're living your life, it's rooted in the principles of God and rooted in practices that are going to build his kingdom, do things the right way. For me, it aligns being ethical and making sure that things are done considering the people. So I'm super excited. But again, 30 days of content to introduce just my ideas of what I want to see in the design space, what I want to see happening as we continue to innovate and create what we want as far as in built environments. But I'm going to get into this conversation today, so whoever hops on this, enjoy. But this is really about getting out there and being dedicated and being consistent. A lot of times, I'll speak for myself, but I know many people can relate. We might have a goal, we might have an idea, or we might be working towards something. And life do be lifing, but everything else seems to get in the way of accomplishing what we should accomplish and sticking to a plan and sticking to an intentional way of going about growing or scaling a business or connecting with people. So this really is to get outside of my shell, to come as I am, and to not always say, oh, I need to have this and that together, I need to make sure that everything is perfect. It's really just about starting where I am, being myself, sharing real raw facts, or just engaging content that can invite people in and can really, again, get me used to putting myself out there. Not that I have such a hard time with that, but again, I will be building and laying the groundwork for my baby to flourish, and my baby is multifaceted by design, but we're not gonna get into the full details of that until the beginning of 2025. So let's start this off. I get a sip of my coffee, adjust, got my little setup. We're gonna get real candid about all of these things, and I'm excited about it. Okay, so first off, girly, we have a red set. It's giving marble, and I'm very into the fashion and the creative expression and the aesthetic. Aesthetics aren't everything, but you definitely have to have an eye, and I like to keep it cute. So y'all, my name is Ashley Brooks. I'm a Dayton, Ohio native. I grew up in a household full of women and had my dad in my life, but being really surrounded by all kinds of diverse, multifaceted women that taught me different aspects of what it meant to be a woman, to be a person, to inhabit space, and to be a force in this life, be the right kind of spirit in this flesh on this planet. I have a lot of women who have inspired me and who have cared for me and nurtured me over the course of my life. And shout out to God, shout out to them for just really showing me all the possibilities of expression, all the possibilities of collaboration and what nurturing could be and what love could be, but also again reminding me what I need to bring to the table for the next generation to keep breaking cycles and keep propelling forward. So really, when I start noticing my love for design and organizing space and making things flow and maximizing a function, my earliest memories I can recall is first decorating my room. I've always loved to kind of switch it up and make things cute and be the person who gets to dictate my space. It really was always important to me to have some kind of autonomy over my life, over my body, over something. Even if I really didn't fully grasp what that meant, and I might have had some working to do about making it as intentional as possible for me, I knew that I wanted to influence something in my space. I knew that my direct environment impacted me, and I knew that I wasn't just gonna be able to do something like maybe in a cluttered manner or like not have things be orderly, because I need order to function, and based off that order then I can kind of be free flowing and kind of go with that. So organizing my room and really trying to control the space that was mine and make it feel like me and emulate that feeling of comfort and personality is one thing I remember. But also my grandma, Edwina Brooks, she was a great woman, intelligent, an educator, a lover of youth, a lover of community engagement, many things, and I miss her greatly. But she was very into her home as well, and she was on it. She made sure she dressed nice. She made sure her home was exactly how she wanted it to be, because she worked hard for everything she had. And so I remember when she was remodeling her home and she had her home built. I recall being at a house when I was like way younger, and then she moved into the house that she built from the bottom up. So clearly that's even a major step from maybe renting to then building a home and then owning it. And that's the home that, it's a family home to this day, and many years, many childhood occasions happening in that house. But really seeing her being meticulous about the color schemes and the themes in certain rooms, and even getting my ideas and my approval of like, what do you think about this? Or she made sure she had a room for my sister and I that was like a princess and a royal room. So we had like a magenta color on the walls, but very light and airy finishes, and a comforter set that was kind of lacy but golden and really had that royal feel to it. And that was just one room, but her intentionality behind just, again, knowing where stuff is, organizing it, and then creating the space that she wanted to see stuck with me. And so from then on, I kind of had an eye. I wanted to be cute. I wanted to present myself in a nice way, and I had my own sense of fashion and sense of style. But that kind of sparked my curiosity about, what would I do if I had the power to design this space? Or what would I do if I could improve what I'm experiencing now? If I had more money and more resources, what would I create? And so honestly, from every place that my family and I lived, or every space that I went to, from being in middle school, high school, going into undergrad and beyond, it kind of was always the exploration of, how's my space going to reflect who I am and who I'm becoming? And if it is not how I necessarily like it, or if I am not working towards creating some kind of unique aspect about it, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be satisfied. And especially because if you live with other people, or you're just always in public or doing something in the community, it's really important, and it was important to me to have a space to come back to that is mine, that I designed it, that I know where everything is, and that I could just add my special touches. There's a saying that people say, like, the devil is in the details, and I want to reframe and also suggest that, God and the divine nature of things in life are in the details. And so the smallest things and the smallest touches can really create that wholesome, satisfying, fulfilling experience in a space. Again, this laid the foundation for me tuning into space, tuning into spatial design, and being aware again of how space made me feel, and how what I had access to, what I was seeing, smelling, hearing, feeling, touching, I said feeling, Tasting. I wasn't really tasting the spaces, but so yeah, when I was really engaging with these spaces, I felt like I just wanted more. And so clearly, sometimes growing up, not having a lot of financial resources and being a secondhand girly, and meaning I'm going to the thrift stores a lot. I might get something new, but a lot of stuff is secondhand or passed down, or I'm recreating it. And so that can kind of come with a lot of shame when you're younger, and money and status are the things that get you attention or are the things that are celebrated. I always kind of maybe felt inadequate in that aspect, but it quickly was overruled by like my creativity and my ability to make something shake and still be able to speak to something about my personality with limited resources and be creative and innovative with little. So clearly, if I'm able to manage little, I'm going to be able to do so much more when I get the more resources, or if I get more access to things. So yeah, I just, from that time on, would like, if I wanted to pay my room, I would buy the paint. I would wait till I had some money, and I would go and I would get the color that I liked, spend all night doing 2 coats of paint over my room, reorganizing it to just feel something and to give a different sense of routine or sense of awareness to a similar space. And it's so important. So that led me to go to Kent State University. I kind of had a little bit of an iffy time trying to decide what I really wanted to do, which is kind of like, come on, there's too many options in life, especially when you're in high school. But design and built environments were always something that resonated with me. So that's what I applied. It was between like industrial engineering or like design and architecture, stuff like that. But it was too much math and stuff in engineering, and I'm like, I'm more of a creative, diverse thinker versus more of a linear type of thinker. So I was more prone to interior design. So went to Kent State 2014. It's my first time going to that program. Graduated high school, went to Kent State, and I actually had to wait to take some studio classes to my second year just because some credits or whatever, because some GPA issue, which is problematic, holding people's worst moments against them when you can do great overall and your GPA is fine, and you have a bad semester and you got some real life going on, and then you playing catch up for years, and now you got to go through all these hoops because of a bad patch of life. But anyway, and if you hear that, it's the heat, it's the sound, whatever. So I was taking some classes, getting exposure to interior design and design in the world and how to think about it. And fast forward to my second year, first year studio, when I started that, we literally focused on hand drawing and perspective drawing and drawing the floor plans and the layouts and different creative abstract studio projects Monday, Wednesday, Friday each week with expensive materials, and just a very rigorous program where like you had to pass with like a 78 or above or you failed. Like, so a 77 was nothing, because a C plus, or a C minus was like a 78, and everything under a 7, like a 77 under, was nothing, and you had to retake it. And sometimes you had to wait till the next school year versus just waiting to the next semester. So the stakes were high, and for me sometimes that was a lot, because I was away from home in college, really suffering some depression, suffering some different mental health issues, limited resources, not really authentic community yet where I was. So I did have a hard time and struggle with that, which kind of forced me to pivot and reimagine kind of where I might be best at and what I need to thrive. But I will say Kent State did a great job of laying the foundation for me of clearly understanding why I like interior design. And obviously it was the people. It was sometimes architecture, for example. They make the shells of spaces. They have great facades and people see them and they're amazed by them, and they can just be very historical and monumental, honestly. But they often don't account for how humans engage and interact in a space. And many of the aspects that make a space worth it and make a space intentional are left to the interior designers, because they better understand the finishes but also the human level engagement. So I've always been interested in human level engagement. evoking emotion, connecting with people, and really doing something so beautiful in a space that people are impacted and it makes you feel something greater than what you thought. I think that's powerful, and that in the midst of my personal struggles, I never lost sight of wanting to impact spaces and create those kind of spaces for connection and to include more lived experiences from people who look like me or are othered or have been left out. And so we took color theory, we learned hand drafting, we learned how to visualize some things, which was kind of the weakest part because everything was so new, so I kind of struggled with that a lot. But I had to pivot, and I actually, talking about failing, I actually failed my second year a semester. I was in studio, when you're in design, architecture, interior design school, it's ghetto. You pull on all-nighters, you're doing so much work, you're trying to manage all these things, and you're a full-time student, and I struggled, and for various personal and professional reasons, but I clearly made it through. But again, I will say I love the color theory part. I love understanding how colors work and what colors work best together. And my favorite thing to draw were axonometric drawings. So those are ones that are done at a 45-degree angle. And it's just so much easier to draw something like, for example, a model of a room or model of a structure. For me, it was so much better to draw it at the 45-degree angle than it was to draw a perspective drawing, a 1 point, 2 point. Listen, I struggled, but clearly made it through, like I said. So, all that being said, I took that knowledge with me, and knowing that I really was concerned about people and understanding systems level approaches to what is creative, I pivoted to majoring in urban affairs. So city affairs, what's happening in cities, which are the most dense spaces and mixed populations, mixed uses, a very cool aspect of research and understanding people and society and changes. I did that with a concentration on urban planning. So still looking at how cities are planned and what's created there and what goes into that. And also with a focus on revitalization, urban revitalization. And learning, being in a very white dense program, sometimes revitalization was connected right into not including Black and brown voices and going into community and gentrifying it, or doing only what people who are affluent and removed from the area want, versus really connecting with the people and getting the lived experiences of the people a part of the research process so things can merge better. And so people don't have to be forced out of their community, or they're not forced to subpar locations because now all these other things are coming in that completely disrupt the culture that was created or overlook the people that were there. And so understanding more of those nuances and how policy sets the tone for what's created, policy sets the tone for how we behave, how we show up, how we think about things. It even forms our biases. It forms trends of election cycles. It forms trends of, production, corporations, all these different things. So I really wanted to kind of understand more of that complexity so I can really kind of better serve people and understand them. And so after that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I love the interior design part. Humans spend a lot of time indoors, and we need to think about that. I love considering the urban, space and how all these things intersect. Why don't I try to consider both? So when I went to grad school, I applied to a program for design, research, and development at The Ohio State University. And this was a perfect time for me to begin to research both and look at the implications of policy and design in public spaces and advocate for people who are underrepresented and marginalized, and begin to look for their story, look for their input in the formation of public spaces, communal spaces, and what policies and regulations create behavior or fund and make space for what spaces are built. So this flow really allowed me to have a very systems level perspective of, what policies and regulations create the playing field for the racisms, the sexisms, the discriminations, the social and wicked problems. And then when you understand that, being able to have a different perspective of how I'm looking at communities and present day impacts, or even future dreams and desires. If I have a better understanding of what happened, root causes, and where people were, where they are, and where they want to go, the product, services, and processes that are created in the future can better represent people. They can better take into account more complex factors that should be considered, and they can just better honor humanity, all humanity. And I'm a Black woman, okay? It's giving very Black feminist ideals. It's giving intersectionality. It's giving we're doing things that consider the planet and the sustainability for people, and giving them realistic things to think about or work towards from a community and built environment and design perspective. And so I so anticipate learning more about how this looks for me, how design research is going to shape my career, and how I'm specifically going to be able to create these processes that help maximize capacity personally, that help maximize all the assets and the lived experiences of people in whatever project or community I'm working in or working on. I really look forward to learning more about people through authentic conversation and qualitative research, and not only counting on surveys and quantity and numbers, but understanding the people and the trends and the nuances behind the numbers so things can be better considered. I don't know about y'all, but growing up as a Black woman in Dayton, Ohio, in America, too often my existence hasn't been considered or comes after too many things. And it shows me that I'm not prioritized. It shows me that it would have me believe that my life doesn't matter as much as somebody else's. And baby, we know that's not true. But what I am, poised to do with my life and my assets is to be curious and ask questions and continue finding the people with this drive and this fire to deeper understand and to co-create together and to really reimagine what we experience. Because y'all, whether you believe it or not, the spaces that you're around and you're in, what you see, what you're exposed to, what you're taught, it shapes everything about how you move through life. It shapes what potential you think is, awaiting for you. It shapes how you view possibilities for your future growth. And it truly is by design. Honey, we are too multifaceted, we are too nuanced, and we are too big to be placed into these small boxes or to be given shells of unintentional design and products that aren't really healthy for us or our planet or people globally or the global system of economic. I was saying the global systems of all these things that are connected. So I am going to just really be digging deeper into some of these conversations over the next 29 days. Now this is day 1, but really just giving y'all a taste of how I think about things, giving you an understanding of what I'm building and my journey of defining this consulting or just engaging practice of making people more informed about design, not only in these bigger systems and in their communities, but in your individual life, in your individual self, and how you better can master that, and even better, how I can help that process. So, y'all, I thank you for listening. I hope that you keep tuning in to hear more about me every day in December, except December 31st, and going forward into the new year, because it's coming in hot. Preparation, things take time, but I'm so passionate about creating spaces that honor people and honor the stories and honor the resilience and just really show love and show care, and processes that leave you feeling better, and research that leaves you not feeling exploited, and interactions that make you feel seen and heard and valued. And I'm so excited to see how I can begin to make some of the impacts through design research, through community collaboration, and through getting to the money with clients that share the vision of all capacities, of all disciplines and all sectors. Because it truly has to be a collaborative, transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary approach to even begin to tackle some of these wicked issues and make solutions and mitigations that reflect the diverse body that we are. So y'all, tune in tomorrow or the next day. But I really appreciate it. I look forward to just telling you more about my life, who I am, and what I'm building. So y'all have a great night. Be consistent for yourself like I'm trying to be consistent. And if you don't take anything else away, take away that you matter, your story matters, and I want you to sit with that so you can better understand not only yourself, but the world around you. I love y'all. I wish y'all so much joy and contentment, and catch me here tomorrow. Peace.